If you're going through a spiritual awakening and you're finding it difficult to hang out with your old friends or family members and are struggling with it, this video is definitely going to help you. I'm going to be giving you 4 things that you can do when you begin to realize that your old group is no longer resonating so that it's not so difficult. My name is Adam. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Before we get started, please take a second to like and subscribe. And I just want to let you know I'm doing free breakthrough calls. There's a link pinned in the comment section below. These are 30-minute calls where we will go over your vision for your life, what's blocking you, what's stopping you, what's coming up, and some steps you can take to finally get into your power. So we all kind of go through this when we begin to evolve spiritually. If you're going through an awakening process, if you're sort of at the beginning of it, or even in the middle, one of the main phases of this is realizing that you don't resonate with your old friends or your old group anymore. And this can be very painful. It can be very painful because even some of the people you will see, like, they just aren't meant for you anymore. But others you may actually still feel a connection to, and for some reason, like, you're just not vibing because your frequency is raising, and especially if you're empathic, you might not even be able to be around them energetically, which can really suck. It can really suck, and it can leave you feeling guilty, sad, frustrated. I've had to go through this many times myself, where certain people, certain family members are extraordinarily difficult for me to be around, and it's left me feeling very, very ashamed of myself and very guilty. So what are a few things, 4 things that you can do when you start to experience this? One, and this is very important, understand that it's because you're moving up. It's not a bad thing, even though it is sad, even though it does have, consequences and difficulties and challenges. Ultimately, it's because you are progressing. You're moving on to bigger and better things. And that's not to say that you're better than these people. It's just to say that they're not in resonance with who you're becoming, and that's because you're stepping up your frequency and your vibration. So when you can see this as something positive that's happening to you, it makes it a little bit easier to deal with. The number 2 thing that you can do is look at what it was that you used to resonate with in these people. Because a lot of times what you'll find is some of the frequencies that drew you together were not really the best things. And when you have that clarity and understanding, it makes it easier to separate. Like, maybe you hung around and complained a lot about what was wrong with the world, and now you're more solution oriented. Or maybe you gossiped a lot about dating and relationships in a shallow, superficial way, and now you're looking to find a more heart-centered sort of dynamic with somebody. Or maybe you guys hung out and did drugs and smoked pot and drank a lot, and they're not very conscious, and they're kind of staying in that party sort of mindset, and you're like becoming more introspective and reflective and looking at your behavior and looking to evolve and change yourself. And so when you see that this was the reason you guys bonded, and you notice that it wasn't particularly healthy, it's a little bit easier to just say, like, I love you guys, God bless you, like, I wish you the best, but I have to separate now. The third thing that you can do is really just give yourself some time alone. This is a very common phase in the spiritual awakening process, and it can kind of suck. It really can kind of suck. But what's happening here is you're transitioning out of old, unhealthy dynamics. And what you're going toward is new, different dynamics. But before you can get there, you have to, basically cut all cords and do a big, huge reset. And that can take years sometimes. I'm not saying it will for you. It could take 6 months, it could take a year, it could take 2 years. If you've been going through it for a while, then just understand that it's not necessarily forever. It's part of what we're all doing, right? So on the planet for many years, many thousands of years, most all of the dynamics, emotionally, energetically, friendship-based, romantic relationship-based, business-based, they were all very unhealthy, based in shadow frequencies, based in competition, based in trauma, based in domination and control. And we don't want to enter into new relationships while we're still carrying all that old stuff or too much of it, because we'll just start to recreate the same thing. And really, in order to know who you truly are, which is your spiritual self, you do need a lot of time in your own energy. We tend to absorb the frequencies and imprints of family members, friends, those around us, because we haven't been taught sovereignty. And so it just makes sense that when you're evolving, it's going to take some time to just be by yourself in kind of quiet and solitude a bit, to figure out who you are and who you are not and who you want to become. This can be a little bit painful. It can kind of suck. It can be kind of lonely. But as you embrace this period, you will start to find the energy and the love within yourself more and more and more, and you will become less dependent upon the things you used to be dependent on, like people's validation, people's approval, not so much money, but like you won't be as attached to like status and things like that. You will find your value more from your true, authentic, beingness. And the fourth thing you can do when you start to notice that these people aren't resonating anymore is really take some time to ground in the energy of trust. Because along with the other three things that I've mentioned, what all of this is doing is it's leading you towards your next phase. It's leading you toward the community and the groups that you do resonate with, that you do vibe with. Like I said, first you have to start to feel this out and find it within yourself. You don't have to be perfectly healed. You don't have to like be completely enlightened. You just need to clear up enough of the old patterning to make it so that when the new ones come in, you're ready for it, and you can start to interact with a new, more healthy dynamic. And the good news right now is, because Pluto went into Aquarius, that really is the energy of the collective and community. Pluto being in Capricorn, if like for me, when I started my spiritual journey, it was back in like 2007, 2008. So I spent a long time in solitude, because Capricorn is very restrictive, limiting, kind of. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn's a little bit of a dick. So it was very harsh, but now sorry, Saturn, we're coming back, we're coming into more of a collective community energy, so it might not take you that long. It's all starting to open up now. There's a lot of communities online. There's a lot of spiritual communities in many different ways, shapes, and forms. So just trust that as you figure yourself out, as you figure your stuff out, as you let go of your old trauma, old wounding, and old patterning, you're going to draw in the ones that are right for you, your soul family, your soul friends, your true partner, your true friends, the career or calling that you've been looking for from a heart-centered, soul-purposed place. It just takes some time. And know that it's not a punishment, and it's not forever, and that solitude is part of the spiritual path, but don't think that it's all that there is to it. This is something that I had to go through for a long time, and it's one of the things that happens when you're in a phase for a little bit too long, like I was. You start to think that's all there is. And like when you get spiritual, you do, come to understand that being by yourself, being in the quiet, like opens you up to spirit. It opens you up to your higher self. And that's a good thing. But there's a lot of, literature and perception out there that to be spiritual means to be completely alone. And I think that's total bullshit. I think it's just that the planet has been so wounded that we haven't healed enough until about now to really come into communities and groups where it can be healthy. So that perception that you need to be alone is a phase. It's just a phase that we got kind of stuck in, and we needed to. But again, it's just a phase, and I do feel very strongly like it's starting to end. So wherever you are in your process, just know that there are many really good things to look forward to, and the more you do the inner work, you do the healing, you release your trauma, and also know that you don't have to have it all figured out or healed. The more you kind of go through the puberty stage and you start to birth your new like adult spiritual self. So let me know how this goes. Let me know if you have any questions, concerns, revelations, breakthroughs. I always love to hear you. I always love to hear from you. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I have a free energy clearing in the description below if you want some help clearing your trauma and your patterns. Other than that, thank you so much. I very much look forward to next time, and peace.